It was a Tuesday night when Marcus Ellery first felt it. Not saw, not heard, felt. That specific, wordless weight of being observed. The kind that doesn't announce itself. It just settles into your chest like cold water and refuses to leave. He was crossing the university quad at 9 in the evening. Same route he'd walked 100 times. Past the architecture building, left at the fountain, straight down toward the east gate. Familiar enough that his mind had stopped registering it. Until the car, a silver sedan, idling at the edge of the crosswalk. Lights on, engine running, the driver's hands resting on the wheel. Not scrolling a phone, not waiting for someone. Watching, Marcus slowed. The car didn't move. He crossed the street, keeping the car in his peripheral vision the whole time. When he reached the other side and turned, just briefly, the car was still there, still watching. He told himself it meant nothing. Marcus was good at that, finding logic in things that deserved fear. He kept walking. He didn't run. He didn't call anyone. He filed it under coincidence and kept moving. That was his first mistake. To understand what happened to Marcus Ellery, you need to understand what kind of person he was. He was 23, architecture student, the kind of mind that entered a room and immediately calculated sight lines, load-bearing walls, emergency exits. He didn't do this consciously anymore. It was just how he processed the world, in patterns, in structures, in what held things together and what didn't. He was quiet, deliberate. He didn't make decisions without thinking them through first, which is exactly why, 3 weeks before that Tuesday night, creating a dating profile had felt so out of character, even to him. His roommate had pushed him into it after a rough semester. Just try it. You don't have to marry anyone. So Marcus downloaded the app, built a minimal profile, and within 48 hours, he matched with someone named Sarah Vance. Same university, studying urban design. Her bio listed 3 things she loved: pour-over coffee, buildings with exposed concrete, and the kind of silence you only get at 6 a.m. Marcus stared at that bio for longer than he'd like to admit. He loved all 3 of those things. He'd never posted about any of them. They talked for 5 days. The conversation moved the way good conversations do, without effort, without performance. She asked him questions nobody asked. She remembered details he'd mentioned in passing. She felt, somehow, like someone who already knew him. A coffee date was set. Wednesday, 11 a.m. The small cafe near the Humanities building. Her suggestion, though it happened to be his favorite spot on campus. Wednesday came. Marcus arrived early. Ordered. Waited. She never showed. No message. No cancellation. Her profile went quiet. Still active, but no response to the texts he sent. By Thursday evening, he stopped trying. He felt embarrassed more than anything. Deleted the app. Told himself it didn't matter. He didn't know the date was never the point. For days after the no-show, Marcus was walking to his part-time job at an off-campus print shop. 20-minute walk. He'd done it dozens of times. The silver car appeared at the end of the block. It rolled alongside him slowly, matching his pace for half a block, then accelerated and disappeared around the corner. Marcus stopped walking. He stood on the pavement and ran the image back through his mind with the careful precision that was just part of how he thought. Silver sedan. Slight dent above the rear left wheel. Same car. He was certain. He kept walking. Told himself, coincidence. 2 days later, same route, same time. The car stopped ahead of him. The window came down. The man inside was unremarkable in every way that should have been reassuring, but wasn't. Mid-30s. Calm face. Voice like he was discussing the weather. You work at the print place, right? Long walk. Marcus kept his distance from the window. "I'm fine, thanks." The man smiled. "Sure. Stay warm." The car pulled away. Marcus called his roommate from the sidewalk. Told him what happened. His roommate said it was probably just a weird guy being friendly. Said the city was full of them. Marcus almost believed him. Almost. If this is already sitting wrong with you, good. It should. Stay with us. That night, Marcus pulled up a screenshot he'd saved of Sarah's profile. He wasn't sure why he'd saved it. Habit, maybe. The same instinct that made him photograph partial license plates without fully deciding to. He looked at her photos for a long time. For pictures, different settings, different lighting. But something about the eyes across all 4 images was identical in a way faces usually aren't. Same angle, same flat quality behind them, like the warmth in the expression had been placed there deliberately rather than felt. He ran a reverse image search on each photo. Every single one pulled from a different source. Deleted profiles, dormant accounts, different women, different years, scattered across platforms that barely existed anymore. The profile was a construction, a composite assembled from pieces of real people. Built, Marcus realized slowly, to be exactly what he would respond to. Someone had studied him long enough to know what he'd find irresistible. And then they built her. Marcus changed his route to work. Different streets, different timing, leaving 20 minutes earlier than usual. The car appeared anyway. He started noting locations retrospectively, pulling memories from the past several weeks with new context. The silver car in the lot behind his gym, parked outside his Tuesday lecture, idling on the street near his apartment building on a Sunday morning he dismissed as background noise. It had been there, consistently. Before the Tinder match, possibly. He couldn't be sure. On a Thursday afternoon, he went to a coffee shop he'd never visited before. Found it by opening a map application, closing his eyes, and pointing. He sat with his back to the wall, ordered something, opened his laptop. 30 minutes in, the silver car rolled past the window. Slowly, the way you drive when you're checking. Marcus didn't move. He watched the car until it disappeared. Then he sat very still and understood, for the first time, that this was not something that operated by normal logic. He hadn't told anyone where he was going. He hadn't decided himself until he was already walking. There was no explanation for how the car knew. He came home that evening to find a folded piece of paper on the floor just inside his apartment door. One line, handwritten, neat and unhurried, like a note left by someone with all the time in the world. "You look better in the blue jacket, the one you donated last spring." Marcus read it 3 times. He had owned a blue jacket. He'd donated it 11 months ago, dropped it into a charity bin outside a grocery store in a different city before he'd moved here, before this university year began. He'd told no one, posted nothing. It was the kind of detail that exists in a life and then disappears without record. He sat down on the floor of his hallway and didn't move for a very long time. This wasn't obsession the way we usually mean it. This was something that had been watching Marcus become himself. From a distance we don't have a word for yet. What was found next is the part of this story that changes things. Keep going. Marcus called Detective Okafor that night. She was a family friend, sharp, unhurried, the kind of person who listened all the way to the end of a sentence before responding. She listened now without interrupting. Then, does he know things he shouldn't? Yes. Things you've never posted, never said out loud to anyone. A pause. Yes. Okay, she said. Don't go home tonight. She ran the partial plate Marcus had photographed weeks earlier, the image sitting in his camera roll, taken on instinct, never examined. It came back to a registered owner within 48 hours. Local man, no prior record, lived alone on the eastern edge of the city. Police executed a search warrant 3 days later. Detective Okafor called Marcus afterward. Her voice was careful in the way voices get when the person speaking is deciding how much to say. The apartment walls were covered in photographs. Marcus, over 2 years, before he'd moved to this city, meaning the documentation predated the university, predated the Tinder profile, predated everything Marcus had assumed was the beginning of this. There were printed transcripts of his conversations with Sarah, annotated in the margins, notes on his word choices, his response times, where he'd hesitated before answering, where he'd revealed something and then tried to walk it back. The profile hadn't just been bait, it had been an interview, a structured psychological assessment disguised as flirtation. And then Detective Okafor told him the last part. There was a second Tinder profile in the apartment. Different name, different photos, another composite built with the same method. Already active, already matched with someone new. Okafor read Marcus the new profile's listed interests, the locations, the favorite spots listed in the bio. She went quiet for a moment. Then she asked Marcus, carefully, if he had ever told anyone at all, about the coffee shop he'd mentioned to Sarah. The one near the Humanities building. The one that had been his favorite long before she'd suggested it as a meeting point. Marcus said no. He'd never posted about it. Never mentioned it to a friend. It was simply a place he went, quietly and consistently, because he liked it. Okafor didn't respond right away. When she did, her voice had shifted in a way Marcus couldn't fully describe, like something had moved behind her certainty and she was choosing not to look directly at it. Okay, she said. We'll be in touch. She closed her notebook and didn't bring up the coffee shop again. The man was charged. The evidence was significant, more than enough. The case moved forward the way cases do when the facts are undeniable. Marcus took a semester off, moved to a different apartment across the city, changed his number. He didn't re-download a dating app. He stopped taking the same route twice in a row. His therapist called it hypervigilance, a trauma response. Normal, given what he'd experienced. The brain recalibrating its threat assessment after a genuine threat. Completely explainable. Marcus nodded in the sessions. Did the work. Made progress, by most measurable definitions. 6 weeks after the arrest, he found a new coffee shop. Discovered it the same way he'd found the last one. Eyes closed, finger on a map, deliberate randomness. He went on a quiet Thursday morning and sat with his back to the wall, the way he always did now. He stayed for an hour. Nothing happened. He left feeling, cautiously, like maybe the recalibration was working. He was halfway down the block when he saw it. Silver sedan, parked across the street. He stopped breathing for a moment and looked at it properly, the way he'd trained himself to look at things now. Fully, without flinching. Different license plates. Same dent above the rear left wheel. Marcus stood on the pavement for a long time. Then he put his hands in his pockets and walked home a different way. He didn't call anyone. He didn't know what he would have said. The therapist said the hypervigilance would fade eventually. That the brain learns, over time, that the danger has passed. Marcus was still waiting for that to feel true. Some doors, once opened, don't close just because you've stopped looking at them. If this one stayed with you, it was supposed to. Subscribe. There are more stories that don't end the way they should.